Konnichiwa minasan, Nihongo no gakusei desu. In this lesson, we will talk about the volitional form of the verb plus to omotte imasu. We use the volitional form of the verb plus to omotte imasu to talk about our resolutions. 毎日3時間日本語を勉強しようと思っています。I'm going to study Japanese every day for 3 hours. Now, in this sentence, I have already made my decision to study for 3 hours of Japanese. Okay? There is already a decision. In contrast, when we say 毎日3時間日本語勉強しようと思います, we're saying that the decision has been made on the spot. So here, in the second sentence, I will study Japanese every day for 3 hours. This sentence implies that you have made the decision right now, at the very moment when you spoke those words. Okay? Alright, so decision made on the spot. 10万円あげましょう。何に使いますか? I will give you 100,000 yen. What will you use it for? 10万円あげましょう。何に使いますか? Okay? So, the answer is 旅行に行こうと思います. Here, the answer implies that I made the decision on the spot, right there and there when I answered the question. 旅行に行こうと思います. Okay? So remember to put the verb in the volitional form because if it is in the present casual form, the meaning will be different. Okay? So we will not discuss that. We have discussed that already before. For the decision already been made, here we have this almost the same question. 漁師から10万円もらったんですか? 何に使うんですか? You got 100,000 yen from your parents. What are you going to use it for? Okay? So here, the answer is 旅行に行こうと思っています. I will go on a trip. Although the answer is the same as the previous one, because we use omotteimasu, this implies that the decision of spending the 100,000 yen has already been made. Okay? We did not, or I did not, decide what I will do to the money on the spot. Okay? I have decided it already before. Okay? So we use their omotteimasu. Iko to omotteimasu. I will go on a trip, and I have decided it already before. Okay? What will happen if we change the volitional into the present casual? And we have already discussed this in the previous lessons way before. So the difference is for volitional plus to omoimasu, it means resolution or intention of the speaker. While when we use present casual plus to omoimasu, the sentence is I think. I think that. Okay? 日本語の会社で働こうと思います. Okay, so this is the decision made on the spot. I will work in a Japanese company. Okay? I intend to work in a Japanese company. So you have decided right there at the moment. While when we use the present casual, for example, 日本語の会社で働くと思います. Okay? So here, the meaning becomes different and the translation becomes different. It is translated as I think I will work in a Japanese company. So here, there is no definite answer yet. I think I will work in a Japanese company. 日本の会社で働くと思います. This is the basic difference between volitional plus と思います and present casual plus と思います. Alright, let's have some practice. 練習しましょう. So Mary wants to have various experiences. Okay? So translation is Mary-san wa Nihon iro-iro na keike no shiyou to omotte imasu. So Mary wants to experience various things in Japan. So in this case, because we use omotte imasu, there is already a decision that has been taken by Mary. So Mary decided to experience various things in Japan. There's already a decision made by Mary. But here there is no direct translation in English. So we have to get the context of the words and the pronunciations to understand the translation. Okay? Mary-san wa Nihon iro-iro na keike no shiyou to omotte imasu. Alright, now we're going to answer or to formulate sentences using these phrases and the persons that will do them. So for the first one, Naomi will do physical exercise. Yamashita sensei will go on a diet. Karurosu has decided to quit smoking. Yasmin wants to make a lot of Japanese friends. Robato or Robert decides to practice Japanese all day. Sora decides to look into Japanese customs. Ude wants or is going to look for a job in Japan. John is going to participate in voluntary activities. Okay, so you may pause the video and try and solve, or we'll continue now. All right. Okay, so first with Naomi. So Naomi have decided to do physical exercise. Naomi-san wa undo shiyo. Okay, undo shiyo comes from undo suru, and it is the volitional form. Undo shiyo. Undo shiyo to omotte imasu. So Naomi has decided or decides to do exercise. Or another translation, Naomi is going to exercise. Again, there is no direct English translation. We have to depend on the context and the pronunciation in the sentence to understand the translation in English. Okay? And the next, Yamashita sensei to go on a diet. Yamashita sensei wa ダイエットしようと思っています。山下先生はダイエットをしようと思っています。Professor Yamashita decides to go on a diet or decided to go on a diet, or Professor Yamashita is going on a diet. Carlos Carurusu to quit smoking. Okay? So Carurusu-san はタバコやめよう。So やめよう comes from やめる。やめようと思っています。Carlos decides to quit smoking. Or Carlos is going to stop smoking. Okay? Yasmin decides to make a lot of Japanese friends. Okay? Yasumi-san は日本人の友達をたくさん作ろう。Okay? 作ろう comes from 作る。作る。to make. 作ろうと思っています。Yasmin decides to make a lot of Japanese friends, or Yasmin is going to make a lot of Japanese friends, depending on your preferred translation. Robert decides to practice Japanese all day. Roberto-san は一日中日本語練習しようと。So 練習しよう comes from 練習する。Okay? 練習しようと思っています。Robert decides to study Japanese all day. Or Robert is going to study Japanese all day. Okay? Then we have Sora to look into Japanese customs. Okay? Sora-san は日本の習慣を調べようと思っています。Sora-san は日本の習慣を 調べようと思っています。So here, 調べよ comes from 調べる、to look into と思っています。So Sora decides to look into Japanese customs, or Sora is going to look into Japanese customs. Okay? Ude decides to look for a job in Japan. Ude. Ude-san は日本で仕事を探そうと思っています。So here, 探そう comes from 探す to search, to look for. 探す。Okay? 探そうと思っています。Ude decides to look for a job in Japan, or Ude is going to look for a job in Japan. And then last we have John. John decides to participate in voluntary activities. John さんはボランティア活動に参加しよう。So 参加しよう comes from 参加する to participate. 参加しようと思っています。John decides to participate in voluntary activities, or John is going to participate in voluntary activities. Okay? Alright. If you want to learn how to convert or how to change verbs into the volitional form, you should check out lesson 15, number 1 of my series. Okay? Thank you for listening and watching, and I hope you have learned something today.